conference. Press conference. Press conference.
Thank you, Comrade President and Vice President of the party, Secretary General, Vice President of the country, the Prime Minister, all Politburo members present here, and the media who have come to cover this event for the benefit of the Swapo Party members, sympathizers and supporters across our country. We have a short program. The main reason we are here is for the party president, His Excellency Dr. Hage Geingob, to address the Swapo members, sympathizers and supporters across our country the very important message. I will now hand over to the Secretary General of the party, Comrade Sophia Shaningwa, to welcome everybody inside here, those who are outside across the road and across the breadth and length of Namibia. Comrade Secretary General.
Thank you very much. Directors of proceedings, Your Excellency, Comrade President, Dr. Hage Geingob, President of Swapo Party and that of the Republic of Namibia, Comrade Vice President, Comrade Natumbo Nandi Deitwa, the Vice President of Swapo Party, Comrade Nangolo Mbumba, the Vice President of our country, our Prime Minister in our midst, in your own capacity being a member of the Political Bureau Central Committee of Swapo Party, comrades, members of the Political Bureau of Swapo Party and the Central Committee of Swapo Party, comrade leaders out there, the members of our party, mostly the Central Committee, the MPs, the sympathizers, comrade members of the media, friends. This is a very short meeting coming together as our Director of Ceremonies have said, who's also the Executive Director of Swapo Party, Comrade Samukwa. We are here for the day that we have been all waiting for the records to be put straight by our leader of our party, the president of our country. Without further ado, Comrade President, let me respectfully call on you, Your Excellency, President of our party, Dr. Hage Geingob, to address the members, rank and file of Swapo Party and the nation at large. Thank you very much, Comrade President.
Thank you. Thank you, Comrade Secretary General. Comrade Natumbo Nandi Deitwa, Vice President of the Swapo Party, Comrade Sophia Shaningwa, Secretary General of the Swapo Party, members of the Central Committee and Politburo, the Commerce Regional Coordinator, Comrade Elliot Bako, and others if they are here, rank and file of our glorious, victorious movement, members of the media, citizens of this beautiful country. On the ticket of the Swapo Party, I was re-elected by the people of the Republic of Namibia, the ultimate sovereigns, to represent and champion our collective interests in pursuit of happiness and socio-economic development. Therefore, as President of the Republic of Namibia, I understand that I hold a higher degree of accountability and responsibility than any other citizen. I address you as the president of the Swapo party, understanding my moral obligations arising from ethical motives or a mere conscientious duty, unconnected with any legal obligation, perfect or imperfect, or with the receipt of benefit by promisal or material pecuniary nature. On assumption of the office as the President of Namibia on 21st March 2015, I, out of that moral obligation, unconnected with any legal obligation, together with my wife, decided to declare our assets. From the onset, I understood that when administering public affairs, one has to be transparent and accountable. I had no qualms about the public disclosure of my assets for scrutiny. I have no qualms about public disclosure of my assets for scrutiny. As indicated in my 2020 State of the Nation address, I will in due course make an updated public disclosure of my assets. As you know, that kind of action is a rarity by a sitting head of state on the African continent. This action should come as no surprise because I have been a champion of ethics and transparency in government since my first tenure as Prime Minister of the Republic of Namibia. Shortly after independence, as the first Prime Minister, I initiated a program to look into the issues of ethical behavior in government. This was done in collaboration with the then Attorney General Advocate Hartmut Ruppel, later replaced by Advocate Vegio Rukoro and Advocate Beans Cabanas, the then Ombudsman, and several prominent experts in the field of law and ethics. This initiative culminated in a well-attended conference which looked at various aspects such as corruption, theft, embezzlement, and other unethical behavior in government. This conference was harbinger for the establishment of the Anti-Corruption Commission. I was therefore instrumental in both its establishment and later ensuring the constitutional entrenchment of its independence and impartiality. Therefore, entrenchment of transparency and accountability within government is not an idea or concept that I had latched on recently. On several occasions, I have alluded to the fact that tackling corruption and a perception of corruption can only be successfully achieved through the establishment of robust processes, systems, and institutions. Thus, for political opportunists and opponents to pretend that they are taking the moral high ground and to assert that I and the Swapo leadership have remained silent in the wake of the Fishrot scandal is nothing more than selective morality and political grandstanding. Constructive debates in this respect have regrettably been undermined by the politically motivated rhetoric of those who are driven by personal agendas and outright desire to destroy Swapo Party. The fact remains that despite the desperate attempts by some to taint Swapo's reputation, I am on record as having taken concrete action to fight corruption. Noteworthy among these are the following. Upon receipt of information in which several cabinet ministers were accused of corrupt activities, I wrote letters to those ministers outlining their accusations and requesting explanations. Subsequently, the 4 ministers wrote replies, and this information is now before the ACC for scrutiny and investigation. Moreover, 3 of the 4 ministers were moved to other portfolios in order to facilitate an unhindered investigation. I ordered the cancellation of the irregular awarding of the upgrading tender for Jakutako International Airport, which had escalated from $3 billion to $7 billion. The airport case went to the court, and when the court ruled against government, I successfully appealed to the Supreme Court and, in process, saved the fiscus $4 billion. I took decisive action in the National Oil Storage Project, where costs escalated due to an unfavorable contractual agreement. The government lost $500 million owing to currency fluctuation. Administrative action was taken against officials. I took prompt action against plans for an Angolan oil deal, which did not appear to have a tangible national benefit to us. Therefore, I stopped that from going on. In the wake of the Fishrot scandal, 2 cabinet ministers implicated were summoned to State House, and the result of that meeting was their immediate resignation to allow unhindered investigations. We must now allow the statutory and constitutional institutions dealing with the matter to do so in an environment that does not create undue pressure to them in one way or another. Those are the institutions. Other craft cases, i.e. court awards, are either in court or being investigated. One Western diplomat told me that corruption is everywhere. What is important is how your institutions deal with it. Our institutions are dealing with corruption, and my stance and actions is, as a head of state and the president of Swapo Party, is very clear. This record is clear testimony of my commitment to fight corruption. Fellow citizens, comrades, and friends, you must understand my stance to support the sacred principle of separation of powers. I must be consistent as a head of the executive to allow processes, systems, and institutions to do their work without interference. We are a country that adheres to the rule of law and the principles of effective governance. We must make room for due process to take its course. We cannot expect the president or the Swapo Party to become judge, jury, and executioner. The Swapo Party and its leadership will deal with any allegation pertaining to corruption in a systematic and methodical manner. Lies and innuendo will not be allowed to fester, and I call upon party members to be vigilant against those who seek to sow confusion and division. Our judicial process must never be subjected to pressure, political or otherwise. People must not be subjected to trial by mainstream or social media. Such a scenario will have far-reaching implications to the independence of our judiciary and to citizens' right to have an impartial, independent, neutral, and fair trial, one that is free of any kind of prejudice. Recently, I have observed unfortunate attempts by some media houses, members of the public, politicians, and surprisingly, some lawyers to put pressure on public institutions that ought to do their work fairly, independently, and free of fear, favor, or pressure. This has been particularly the case when it comes to the Fishrot investigations. Just like the executive is obliged not to interfere with the work of the judiciary and law enforcement agencies, everyone else should stay clear of such processes and allow those who have constitutional duties and prerogatives to be able to deal with the matter in an objective, fair, and professional manner. Through contested elections, the Namibian people returned the Swapo Party and its president to power in November 2019. To fulfill the aspirations of the Namibian people, the Swapo Party shall and must remain committed to the promise of delivering services to the Namibian people. In November 27, I was elected at the Congress as Swapo Party president. I have always been very clear from the beginning that you don't play the man, but to play the ball. During the campaign, I have never mentioned any name of any person. I was talking about issues, that's playing the ball. When the game is over, we shake hands and move on. If we have open elections, as we had in 2017, all those who participated are expected to accept the will of the delegates. Some of us have contested elections in the party. We lost and accepted the outcomes without any sour grapes. There are those who contested the elections as per their right, and commendably, they are now working within the Swapo Party collective. That is the spirit of Swapo Party. It is an insult to hundreds of delegates who voted with their conscience for candidates of their choice, only to be accused without any basis that they were paid to vote for certain candidates. This is not the Swapo Party way. Swapo Party cadres discuss issues and concerns through party structures, and it is a tradition that has served the party well. The founding president, Comrade Sam Nyoma, the second president, Comrade Lucas Bohamba, and most senior leaders continue that sacred tradition. These leaders, when they have concerns or contributions, engage the party through party communications channels so that solutions can be found in a constructive manner. After all, the party is bigger than all of us, and we all have an obligation to defend our party, its programs, and policies. It is in this respect, I, as a president of Swapo, as a president of the Swapo Party, for the party unity and cohesiveness, remain committed to engaging particularly senior party cadres who may have genuine contributions to strengthen the party, who may add or make constructive contributions to strengthen the party. This is an indication This is in addition to the introspection process where all party cadres will be welcome to engage their beloved Swapo party. On the issue of political donations, first let me explain here first. On the introspection, we decided very early after elections. In Central Committee, we announced that Swapo is going to introspect to say where we have gone wrong and therefore address the issues. Way before in Central Committee. That process is going on. On the issue of political donations, the position of the Swapo party is evolving in line with the December 2019 call for introspection. There are those who unfairly assume that nothing has been done about corruption and that no progress has been made in introducing a transparent legal framework for political donations. I want to provide information to the public, Swapo members and sympathizers of steps that have been taken since November 2017 and the way forward. I wish to announce that the Swapo party, in the context and framework of its ongoing process of self-introspection, will commence with its own internal review, reform, and investigation to establish the full facts of past political donations to enable us to take corrective measures and actions. While embarking on the above process of review, I wish to shed some light on the existing confusion over and the lack of clarity on the issue of donations to political parties, particularly during the period 2014 to 2019. The confusion or a deliberate tactic misinformation is evident in the mainstream media. In terms of Section 141, Paragraph 2A and B of the Electoral Act of 2014, the ECN Act, a registered political party which has received domestic donations in an amount more than a prescribed amount in a financial year from a Namibian person or institution must disclose to the public within a period and in the manner prescribed in the ECN regulations. The prescription of the prescribed amount, the upper limit, in this context is to be done by regulations made and published by the ECN in Government Gazette. Because of the prolonged consultation since the coming into effect of the new Electoral Act and other bureaucratic processes required before coming up with the ECN regulations on the prescribed maximum total amount for political donations, I understand that the process was unfortunately only completed during 2019. Therefore, until 2017-2019, the ECN regulations required under the ECN Act to fix a maximum donation threshold were non-existent. They were not there. There were debates going on, and they were not in existence. Consequently, political parties that may have received donations between 2014 to 17 November 2019 would not have been under statutory obligation to publicly disclose donations as the prescribed donation amount beyond which donations must be publicly disclosed did not exist at that time. Reluctantly or resentfully, both recipients of political donations and donors were under no obligation until 18th November 2019 to make public disclosure of donations beyond a fixed threshold amount. I hope I'm clear. Resultantly, both recipients of political donations and donors were under no obligation until 18th November 2019 to make public disclosure of donations beyond the fixed threshold amount. I must immediately point out that this is the case across the whole political spectrum, including donations from foreign or local, made to other political parties and independent candidates, all of us. On 18th November 2019, the ECN published regulations relating to declaration of assets and liabilities of political parties and any other person such as independent candidates on disclosure of foreign and domestic financing of political parties in Government Gazette number 7053. I invite you to consult its content. The Swapo Party has studied these provisions and shall comply accordingly, and I call on all political parties to follow suit. It has become law with effect from 18th November 2019 that total donations that political parties may receive from Namibian person or a Namibian institution should not exceed $4 million Namibian dollars, that is, per financial year. While a total sum of donations received from foreign persons or foreign institutions should not exceed $2 million Namibian dollars for a particular year. Furthermore, in the event of political party receiving donations beyond their aforestated amounts, it is mandatory that within a period of 30 days after receipt of such total amount of donations, there must be publication of notice in 2 Namibian newspapers specifying the amount of money received, source from which the money was received, any condition upon which the money was donated, condition put, money was donated, and the manner in which the money is intended to be used. Therefore, in view of these recent regulations, and whilst the Swapo Party is undertaking an internal process of review, reform, and investigation, I have directed with immediate effect that no Swapo Party member or sympathizer should seek to solicit donations from any prospective donor, domestic or foreign, without authorization of the Office of the Secretary General. Number 2, no Swapo Party member or functionary may, on behalf of the party, accept donations from any source, domestic or foreign, without obtaining authority from the party Secretary General, Party Secretary for Finance and Economic Affairs, in consultation with the Secretary General. Number 3, any person or institution who upon solicitation or on a voluntary basis intends to make a donation to and for the benefit of the Swapo Party or its functionaries must do so through the Office of the Swapo Secretary for Finance and Economic Affairs, in consultation with the Secretary General of Swapo Party. Furthermore, the Secretary for Finance and Economic Affairs of Swapo Party must keep and maintain a register of donations received in terms of Regulation 4 referred to above, and must ensure that all declarations and disclosures are made in the event of the donations exceeding $4 million Namibian dollars from Namibian persons or institutions and $2 million from foreign persons or institutions. These amounts definitely must be considered again, from what I know, what the elections cost. Concerning past political donations to the Swapo Party, either from private or other institutions, including public institutions, if any, Swapo Party's expectation and requirements have always been that those who made donations monetary or in kind, to the Swapo party must do so in accordance with the law and in the manner that complies with their respective internal procedures. And make this very clear. Concerning past political donations to the Swapo party, either from private or other institutions, brackets including public institutions, if any, the Swapo party's expectation and requirements have always been that those who made donations, monetary or in kind, to the Swapo party must do so in accordance with the law and in the manner that complies with their respective internal procedures. It will be a difficult undertaking to expect the Swapo party or any other person to be able to fully satisfy itself that donors' internal donation requirements and procedures were fulfilled and followed when donations are made. The Swapo party will be appointing a central authority, preferably its Secretary for Finance and Economic Affairs, to accept and register donations made to the party. This will enable him or her to carry out internal due diligence processes before formal acceptance of a particular political donation and to publicly disclose donations exceeding the prescribed threshold. The idea is that in future, those who will be vying for internal party positions, such as the top four, will have to receive donations through the central authority of the party, not individual donations to Hage or this or this. It should be to or through the central authority of the party. This will not only enhance internal party funding, it will also address the challenge of factionalism within the party. The Swapo party is therefore committed to reviewing its internal systems and processes on donations in order to formulate and adopt policies aimed at identification, certifications, and acceptance of donations in accordance with the law. In accordance with the law. I therefore ask that all Swapo members and sympathizers remain united while the necessary review, investigation, and reforms are taking place. Swapo party members must also be vigilant and alert against those who are trying to tarnish the name of the party. It is clear that there is an unfortunate but clear agenda by a small group whose aim is to destroy the Swapo party from within and without. The ongoing campaign of vilification of the Swapo party and its leaders, individuals associated with the party, must be viewed in that context. We all have a collective responsibility to defend our party and its legacy. We must remember that we have a responsibility to re-image the future and to restore the relationship with our people. We must show our people that we hear them. We must show our people that we hear them, we see them, we care about them. We are committed to deliver on our election promise of social justice and shared prosperity. Our collective task as a ruling party is to work for a better Namibian and not to engage in endless fights for positions, tribalism, and anti-democratic behavior. Comrades, as your leader, I can assure you that Swapo has not changed. We have not lost our values. We have not forgotten our people, nor have we abandoned our principles. As a party that has always been the vanguard of the masses and on the right side of the history, we will undertake the necessary introspection, reflection, and reform in order to retain the political philosophy of the Swapo Party. This will enable us to remain true to our core values within an evolving political landscape on the domestic and global front. The Swapo Party was founded on the values of solidarity, freedom, and justice. These enduring values are clarion call and appeal to all of us as members to work harder to maintain unity and cohesion within our ranks. Swapo? United. Swapo? Victorious. Now? Hard way. I thank you very much, comrades. My arm is not good, so I'm struggling. That is a statement I wanted to issue to tell people that we are busy with Swapo's own introspection, and that will be made public. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency, the President of the Swapo Party, for the very clear statement, and also the Politburo members that are in this room, Central Committee members, everywhere else where they are listening, and all the members of the party. Before we give room to questions by journalists, allow me to remark as follows. As you can see from the statement of His Excellency, the gist of the President's public statement was to inform the public, particularly Swapo Party members and sympathizers, of the internal review, reform, and investigation being undertaken by the party within the context of the ongoing introspection announced by the Central Committee on the 16th of December 2019 to establish the facts concerning political donations to the party. In addition, the main aim of the public statement was to announce the most immediate directives by the President to the party in relation to political donations. This is in compliance with the new ECN regulations concerning political donations, which were published on 18 November 2019. The directives just announced by the President go further than the set requirements and procedures referred to in the above regulations in order to enhance transparency on donations that may be made to the Swapo Party henceforth. Importantly, the President also made an impassioned call for the party unity and vigilance, particularly in view of attempts by a few who are working in concert with opposition parties and other dark forces to use a campaign of misinformation to undermine and eventually destroy the Swapo Party from within and outside. The statement of the President has been crafted with full awareness of the rule of law requirement that the merits of the cases pending in court should not be publicly discussed. I'm aware that the President, as the head of the executive, takes this responsibility particularly seriously, as he does not wish his public statement on any ongoing investigation to be seen as an attempt by him to preempt or influence the outcome of such investigations. It is with this in mind that the President will not directly or has not directly discussed specific aspects of any ongoing investigation or pending court proceedings. In this respect, the President wishes that we are all mindful of the limitations within which he can respond to questions which seek to engage the merits of ongoing investigations. Having said that, I now allow the journalists to pose their questions in the spirit of the statement that was made by the President, with the limitations that I have also spelled out. We have arranged that the journalists will speak from just behind the SG there. There's a roving mic there that has been arranged. I will take 5, if any. I think you are lining up there, starting with Jemima. Please go ahead.
Good afternoon, Your Excellency. I'm Jemima Baker. Good afternoon, Your Excellency. I'm Jemima Beekers. These funds were reportedly used to influence the Swapo Party internal elections. Can you please give us an answer on that? Then you said that you have summoned former Fisheries Minister and former Justice Minister, but we also have the Swapo Youth League members that have been implicated. How has the party dealt with these members? Then with all due respect, the Fishrot activities were illegal. Surely people would not bring this to the official. You are saying in your statement that most of these things were done above board, but surely these people would not have brought illegal activities to the official party structure. The ACC said money went through Sisa Namanja's account for the Congress where you were elected. Does this not taint your leadership and that of other members elected at that Congress? Honorable Sophia Shaningwa, what are your views on this Fishrot scandal as the party SG? Also, Honorable Nangolo Mbumba, this happened during your tenure as SG. Can you please also respond to that? And then on the issue of donations, can state-owned enterprises also donate to the party, and which law provides for that? Thank you.
Thank you for the opportunity. My name is Emil Sebib. I'm a reporter from the NBC. Mr. President, you said that the Swapo Party will commence with its own investigations into the full facts of past political donations. And I assume this then includes the allegations that are made against the party, which has, according to evidence that was given last week in court, or this week rather in court, that the party benefited from alleged monies from the Fishrot saga. Is there then a doubt within the party's high rank that this could have been possible, that it is launching an investigation? Because the party has not blatantly denied publicly that it has received funding from this saga. Thank you, sir.
Is the third one? Okay.
I am Dapeoshali Shaponale from Eagle FM and then also AFP. My question is actually a follow-up on one of my colleagues' questions. There were a number of names mentioned and listed, and there were also, that's now bank account or transfers and documents that have also been put out there. So with regards to the fact that this introspection and review is going to be public, is there a list of Swapo Party members, especially those who have been in the media, that are being investigated, and have they been summoned and they will be summoned? And then, Your Excellency President, can you maybe also just tell us from your side what your view is on this whole Fishrot saga and everything that has been unfolding throughout this time? That is it.
There's, Excellency, there's still one. Let me see. Yourself as well. Okay, 1, 2, and then you will be the last one. Thank you. Just come closer to that chair. Yeah, right there.
Good afternoon, Your Excellency.
You don't have to come so close to me.
I beg your pardon, Your
You don't
Excellency.
have to come so close to me.
We're still maintaining physical distancing, Your Excellency. I'm just a bit too close to the SG, but I'm moving a bit to the back. A very good afternoon, Your Excellency. Good afternoon, Namibia. My name is Denver Kisting. I'm here this Sunday afternoon in my capacity as a journalist working for the flagship Afrikaans Daily Republikein. Firstly, I think the nation welcomes your undertaking to, in due course, give us an updated declaration of your assets. There have been calls for public office bearers to not only declare their assets, but also to declare the source of their wealth. Where do these assets come from? Do you support that call, and do you intend to do the same? Secondly, regarding past donations to the mighty Swapo party, you said the party's expectation has been thus far that these donations were made firstly in accordance with the law, but also in accordance with the internal processes of such entities. Should the Swapo party now learn and establish and find out, however difficult it must be to determine this, that these donations were not in accordance with the law and or in accordance with the internal processes of such entities, what action, if any, will be taken, like paying back those donations, for instance? Lastly, I respect your stance on the independence of the judiciary. However, please help us understand how a denial or a concession by the Swapo party that the Swapo party's election campaign had been partially financed by Fishrot money will affect the court case. As far as we know, the only people before court are the gentlemen currently in custody. Thank you very much.
What is that? Hello. Last part.
I beg your pardon, Your Excellency?
Last part.
The last part.
Last part.
Okay, so my last question was, although I respect your stance on the independence of the judiciary, to what extent will a denial or a concession that the Swapo party's election campaign was partially financed by Fishrot money affect the court case or its outcome? The only people before court, as far as we know, are those gentlemen currently in custody. Is that clear, Your Excellency?
No. Try again.
I will launch another attempt.
Maybe the Africans.
No. Perhaps in Khoiko Gobab. Your Excellency, I would like to know from you, to what extent will a denial or a concession by you,
By me.
yes,
Oh.
that the party's election campaign had been partially financed by Fishrot money affect the outcome of the court case? Is the English okay, Your Excellency?
No. I don't really get it. How, can somebody help?
I understand if Your Excellency says yes, we got money, or no, we did not get money from Fishrot. How will that affect the ongoing court case?
Okay.
No, there are a couple of lay people amongst us with respect, so providing that context is necessary and will also help allay all the concerns. That's my humble submission. Thank you.
Okay, the last two.
Good afternoon, Your Excellency. My name is Andrew. I'm with Windhoek Observer. Swapo's name was first mentioned in Fishrot toward the end of last year. Why has it taken so long for you to officially respond in this manner? Swapo, one of the lawyers that was key to presiding over the Swapo Elective Congress is being accused of being a conduit for Fishrot money. What is your response to people who then question whether that election was free and fair? And now that you've launched the investigation into Swapo's involvement with Fishrot, what is going to be, if that investigation confirms everything that has been said, what is the way forward? What are you going to respond? Thank you.
Thank you very much. The technical people, this journalist can't move all the way because he will disturb. I want him to speak from here. Yeah.
right. Thank you for the opportunity. My name is Akeo Sikela from the Nairobi newspaper. I have two questions, and others were already asked by Denver. Your Excellency, I respect the fact that you say that you don't want to comment on the ongoing proceedings in the court, but you mentioned that the party will initiate measures on how to regulate and guide members on how to solicit donations from any donor. But I think what you didn't deal with is the fact that at the end of last year, one of the accused persons in the Fishrot scandal, James Atuikulipi, apparently, allegedly, used your name to solicit money or bribe from the Icelandic company that is being investigated. My question is that, are you denying these allegations that Atuikulipi had solicited money in your name? Or if so, are you willing to sue or take any legal action against Atuikulipi to clear your name? My second question is on the past donations that you mentioned that the party has received. Maybe if, my question would be, is the party willing to allow an independent investigator or any other independent body to audit and investigate and produce a report for the public for the purposes of transparency to determine the sources of funds, or the sources of these funds? Any other donation that was made to Swapo, let's say in 2014, 2012, and 2017, is the party willing to do that for the purposes of transparency and accountability, to also prove to the public that it has not been involved in any dodgy donation campaign? Thank you.
Well, let me start with the last one. It's easier. First, I talk about James said he's campaigning for me or so on. Did he say I was sent by him, meaning by Geingob, to campaign, or you are saying he said that? That must be very clear. He didn't say I sent him. Al Jazeera called me, sent me a letter 2 days before they ran that program. And they asked me a question, 2 questions only. One, they said, did you get any money from James or that company? I didn't even know. First question. Second question they asked, is there anything else you want to tell us? On the first question, I put a big no. No. Second question, I wrote in my book to tell them who I am. That's Al Jazeera. Who I am, where I got my resources, where they are recorded, how I have declared it openly, as I said, in public. I took an office and supervised by Price Waterhouse with all my accounts and so on. That's what I am. I have been working at the UN, I have been working at the World Bank. I gave them the addresses and so on. How I developed myself. I'm now 78. I'm a young boy. I grew up, I worked, and I gave the source. Then I told them, look at me. I'm the president of this country. We have conditions for former presidents in this country. Why should I be stupid after having lived good life, moral life, to come and destroy, when I have only a few years to go, my future? They never said anything about me in that commentary, that report, because I answered them. Now, beginning to, I will be forgetting, my colleagues will help me. First person, the lady, it's about the donations to the party. First, could we just start all of us as Namibians? So now it's not the first party campaign we had, first elections we had in the last one. We had democratic elections for how long now? Starting with the South Africa controlled elections. Money always were there, donated. The slush funds was there. So money was always there. Donations are there. What we are saying is there were no laws to govern how we must report those donations. That is now being done now, I refer to. The donations were there from the individuals, from the parties. They didn't have a formula how to report and so on. 30 years ago it started. Now, party benefited, yes. Party benefited. You will not see in SWAPO audited papers, which we have. Money coming from Fishrot. That I'm answering now. We can give you audited papers of SWAPO and your financial reports. And you're not going to see any money coming from Fishrot to SWAPO party. Campaign has many ways. You have people who have to run around, people who have to maybe get petrol. That kind of a campaign was done, as it is done everywhere else. That you are getting a car, you are getting a petrol to run around, individuals having this function and so on. But SWAPO party didn't get any direct contribution from whatever, which is in its audited books. Let's be clear on that one. Now, if names were mentioned of people and they are in the proceeding case, we said we are not going to answer that. Let those names come to the courts, they will be dealt with there. We are not going to interfere or trying to defend or influence the court as some of you are trying to do. Courts are impartial and we have taken that we cannot interfere in proceedings. When, as we said, the list came out and mentioned 2 ministers, we called them, as I said, to the office and said, hey, first the top 4 met. And we said, this is not good. Therefore, 2 of us, Vice President and I, had to meet them in the afternoon, and they did resign so that they can provide space for investigation, not found guilty, but not to be in the office and interfere. Therefore, you must vacate your office, which they did. So what more could they have done? We take them out. I don't think they are guilty. They are not found guilty yet. I thought that is what we call innocent until proven guilty. So we didn't want them to interfere with the office work and maybe papers, get out of there. That was done. We did our part. Rest is now in the hands of the courts. We cannot comment on that. List of SWAPO party members, whatever it is, what is it? Who were mentioned, what? Huh? Yes, as I answered already, SWAPO as a party didn't get anything in its accounts. SWAPO. If individuals, youth were given something to go and run their congress, those things are happening to all the parties. All the parties are getting that. But SWAPO didn't get money from Fishrot in its bank accounts. We'll give you audited books, you see. Next one is declare what? It's been difficult questions. Can anybody help me? The question. Whether, or declaration of sources of income, contributions. The state-owned. Okay, in the article. Well, there was no limitation. The law was not there, I said. Now the law is there to guide all of us. State, anybody, not only state-owned, anybody. Law is now clear. It was not there in place, but now it's there. We all will be required. That's why I already gave instructions about SWAPO to start with. The laws must be followed by all of us, not only SWAPO. Now, second one is to declare what? Yes. Anybody who I declared publicly, I was sitting there and waiting for people to ask questions. They didn't ask any questions. Everything is there. You must show the source. How else do you declare? And you must even say, if it is a salary, why it was given to you. That is how it is declared. I declared my thing. They wouldn't know what to say. And I was sitting there waiting. I had Price Waterhouse. There was a guy from America was there. It's there. You have list all your bank accounts, balances, and so on. If you have cash, where you got it from. That's how you declare. That's what declaration is all about. Laws, what is it? Huh? Oh. Now, he's saying now, after our investigation, and we found that something was wrong. If there was no law, how do you know you are wrong? The law is now going to be there, and definitely, if we see that these people gave the money breaking the law, let the courts also deal with it, because we didn't know where the source is from if somebody got the money. Nobody said, we are going to give you money, youth, to run your Congress, money we stole from or got from Fishrot. No, nobody says that. So if the facts are going to be clarified and so on, are you going to make the law retrospective? That's a way to look at it. And it's not only Swapo, by the way. We are talking about Swapo, but it applies to all of us, all the parties. Huh? Now somebody says, why did I wait? Apparently. Was there a time limit? Why now? I decided to do it now. We did it in the beginning of the year. When I opened the Central Committee meeting, I said we must do introspection of SWAPO activities, starting with the election results, why did we do weak here and so on, and to look at where the problems are. So if problems are in corruption, we are going to deal with that too. That's what introspection means. Our own decision, nobody else's. We did it and we're going to do it that way. And therefore, we didn't wait too long. In Central Committee processes going on, committees have been set up. But since you want to know what we are doing in SWAPO, I'm just telling you we are doing that. And I'm just announcing it to know, because you're asking. But we have been doing a process. We don't have to announce to you. It's a party business. We said that introspect. Let's look at all aspects, whether now donations, whether they're correct or not. That's what we are doing. But since you're in a hurry, we are giving you the answer that SWAPO is quiet. SWAPO is not quiet. We are doing the job with committees. We're just now telling you how far we are. That's all. Help me. It is,
There was a question from the first person who is the mic on? It's on. Thank you. There was a question, and hereby, as the administrator of this party, I must first thank my president. But he cannot talk alone. He cannot talk alone for as far as the finances of the party are concerned. Because the president, being our leader of our party, doesn't have the signatory power over the finances of the party. The accounts that SWAPO party holds are administered, top number 1, by the Secretary General of the party. The next person who is having the signatory power over the money in the accounts of SWAPO party is the Deputy Secretary General. The third person that is a co-signer to the accounts of the SWAPO party is the Secretary for Finance. Henceforth, I, with authority, today would like here to tell the public out there, the SWAPO party rank and file, that in all the accounts that SWAPO party as a party, as an organization has, SWAPO party didn't receive any single blue or red penny from what they call Fishrot. I would also want, with authority, tell the public and the SWAPO party members there that every year SWAPO party books are audited by professional, registered, recognized, internationally and locally auditors that are auditing the SWAPO party books. Our audited financial statements or reports are given there to the public for scrutiny. And if you want that, you are welcome always to demand the audited report of SWAPO party to date. And therefore, I just wanted to put an emphasis on what the leader of our party have said, that we as a SWAPO party didn't receive any single penny from the so-called Fishrot. SWAPO is an organization. Individuals are individuals. And therefore, the distinction. And therefore, the ACC are busy doing their investigation, whereby the head of state has said he doesn't want to interfere as a matter of prudency. And I think this is what I wanted to say as an administrator of this great party. Thank you very much.
Yeah, there is a way we have been lectured in SWAPO. People have so much interest in, they love SWAPO apparently. They love SWAPO. SWAPO is failing. SWAPO is dying. Now since you don't like SWAPO, why don't you pay for SWAPO to die? Because you cannot be hypocritical to think SWAPO is dying. Why is SWAPO not doing that? As if you are wishing SWAPO to do well. Because you are praying it must die. So please, what we are doing internally. We have to please our members. We have to show them after introspection. First and foremost, our members. If the courts, which govern all of us, come and arrest SWAPO, that's how SWAPO would answer to the courts. But we don't have any obligation to always be in us, as if we have obligation to report to each and everybody in the street. We have press conferences, we have parliament, we will account as governing party. We are ruling party. What we are doing is what we are accounting in the parliament always. But as if people own us, those who don't even vote for us, we like to say, asking questions. We report to our members that they're voting for us. And to even give impression, wishful impression, that SWAPO was punished. SWAPO lost 2 seats. 2/3. For one seat, you say it's a defeat. I hear when I watch the parliament, I laugh at it. You don't make laws who have 2/3. You amend the constitution of 2/3. Swapo scored a victory, Swapo is there. And as for the presidential thing, you don't rule with 80%. When I had 80%, 87%, were you praising me? You were jealous of that. So it's good I could reduce one. When I met my colleagues I went immediately after that to Kenya, and they were laughing at me. I go, why are you worried? Some of us got 50. What's wrong with you? You don't rule with 80% as you had. So please, I don't say leave us alone, but all I'm saying is that you all love Swapo, apparently. You are all worried about how Swapo is not doing well. You want to correct Swapo. Did you vote for Swapo? Those who voted for Swapo are happy. So please, we will account as ruling party through the parliament to our electorate. We go around the country, we address our people, we explain to them. We are now taking introspection. It's a very interesting concept that we are saying, are we doing things right? We're asking that question. Then we are saying that let's go and see why we didn't deliver services, what we were punished for in regions. That's what we are doing ourselves. And therefore say, our regional leaders, Swapo, maybe we didn't do well so much. That's why this punishment. That's our introspection that we are doing with our people, and will take corrective action. And Swapo will always remain strong party. You can wish it away, it will be here, my dears. With that, I thank you.
Thank you very much.
Now let them come.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. I knew you would indulge us. I just want clarity, Your Excellency. When you say that you don't think they are guilty, can you just clarify that?
No, I didn't say that. I didn't say that. One is innocent before found guilty.
Yes, before you said that, you said you don't think...
You are now, I'm telling you. I kept on saying one is innocent until found guilty. I called them once patriots. I was condemned for that. Or comrades. They were comrades, they are comrades. But you are innocent until found guilty.
Thank you for clarifying that.
Yes. According to the law.
Thank you for clarifying that.
Okay. I'm glad you asked that. It could have been misunderstood, distorted as usual. If I wanted to, I wouldn't have fired them. Huh? We told them this is bad, asked them to resign or to fire.
Your Excellency, I would like to know, how does one strike a balance when the party president upholds his moral...
What is that?
Can you hear me now? Your Excellency, how does one strike a balance when the party president upholds his moral obligation, and yet the party of which he is the head of does the opposite? Honorable Sophia Shaningwa, when you said at some point, we have all the money, what did you mean with that? There are also complaints that the Swapo party, which is the ruling party, is deliberately defunding the ACC to make sure that corruption is not addressed head-on. Please comment on that. When you say that the party, there was no money coming through the party account, are you saying that it is okay for individuals to peddle with money wherever they get it from, as long as it doesn't come through the party accounts? Thank you very much.
Do you understand English? What is it? I can speak Afrikaans too.
You can.
Where did I imply it is good if individuals are getting it? Did I say that?
Can I have one last question?
We say through investigations if it is found. We said that there are laws now. Okay. But I didn't say if the individuals get it, it's okay. No.
Your Excellency, you said earlier that the courts will deal with the Swapo Party youth leagues, and yet you did not allow for the courts to deal with the former Fisheries Minister and Justice Minister. Why is the party dealing with this selectively? Then one last question, my last question. Honorable Margaret Mensah. In 2018, you initiated a campaign pushing for the legalization of abortion, sexual and pushing for
I
sexual
called the
rights.
press conference, not Mensa.
And now so you're not taking it. I'm absurd. Thank you very much.
My
Okay, thank you very much.
it's considered harass.
I think I cautioned that we should dwell on what the president has given in a press statement, and also to say there are issues where the president is limited because they are before the court, and he was very careful in his statement to mention that, and he keeps on repeating. So let us not go to individuals. This is not a press statement for Comrade Mensah or SG. It's the president of the party. But maybe, maybe the vice president wanted to make something very clear before we close. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Comrade President. I spent 10 years here. First, as Deputy Secretary General of the party, under my Secretary General, Honorable Pendukeni Ivulaitana. I have always been part of the Finance Committee, both as Deputy and as Secretary General. And what the party gets from its own members' annual contributions, from party companies, and from what we get from Parliament is recorded and accounted for. Now, those people who are willing to help their party, there is nothing we can do about that. If you have more members, you will have more donations. If you have a strong party, there are people who want to be aligned to you. And they do so willingly. We don't force them, and we don't harass them. First of all, we cannot allow trial by public opinion. This is what you are wanting. You want us to condemn people. You want us to declare that the result of the court cases are going to be this, are going to be that. And our president was very, very clear what we are doing within the party, how the procedures will be, and the new rules of the Electoral Commission of Namibia to be followed. We are law-abiding citizens because most of the laws, after all, are passed by the majority party in Parliament. So, are we now going to be, the SG has, there is only one SG at a time in Swapo. She has pronounced herself. And we are saying anyone who got wrong money from wrong organization, the government machinery, the institutional machineries or the courts will catch up with them, will catch up with us. There is a list going on.
I'll talk after you.
Yes, my President. The permanent question that always comes about is when Sophia Shaningwa apparently said, we have all the money. You did very well. I want you to go there so that you report accurately. I was intimidated by an independent candidate, Dr. Itula. Today, for the first time, I mention his name. I was intimidated at a meeting where all political parties were called to sign that all of us will adhere to the code of conduct during the elections of 2019. Dr. Itula mobilized all of us in that hall in front of the Inspector General of the Namibian Police and the chairperson of the Electoral Commission. I was mobilized too to leave the hall where that meeting took place. Apparently, I must also not sign that the Swapo party will adhere to the codes of conduct of elections as set by the law. Mobilized the Secretary General of the ruling party to adhere to the instruction of an independent candidate. And when I told Dr. Itula and his associates, I told him that I am a Secretary General and an administrator of the Swapo party, and I am delegated by my president, here seated, to be at that meeting and to see to it that I signed on behalf of Swapo party that the Swapo party will indeed adhere to the codes of conduct of elections. Dr. Itula jumped up that if I dare sign, whole lot of them, him and his associates, will take Swapo party to court. I told Dr. Itula that it is not the first time that you are taking Swapo party to court. You have been taking Swapo to court, and you are preparing to take Swapo to court. Swapo has all the money too to defend herself. I didn't say we have Fishrot money. Hear me out. We don't have Fishrot money. Today is Monday. Sunday.
Rest day.
Sunday tomorrow. Monday, I respectfully invite you. I have the hard copy. Don't quarrel, look at me. I have the hard copy of the audited financial reports and statement. Come to my office. I will, if you want, invite the auditors of Swapo party to query them without my influence. And then they will indicate to you where the Fishrot money is. We don't have any cent that is a proceed of Fishrot. And I want to tell you, individuals are individuals. Swapo party is Swapo party. But individuals cannot hide behind the Swapo party for what they want to do. And identify Swapo party and make Swapo party an enemy of the public and an enemy of the rank and file of Swapo party. That is not going to be allowed. If they take us to court with a 1% that is coming from each and every individual member of Swapo party, that is coming from the party Swapo party companies, that is coming from those who legally give us donations. Swapo party is not a useless organization. And under the administration of this capable hand and my leaders here, we are going to defend the Swapo party. Swapo party is going to be defended. And we are not going to shy saying that we will defend the Swapo party. We will defend the Swapo party. If Swapo party is attacked, Swapo party will defend herself. But the Swapo party will not be defended with Sophia Shaningwa money. I do not have money as an individual. I only have a salary that my party is paying me. I do not have the money as an individual to defend the party. But the Swapo party collectively, through its resources, Swapo party will defend herself. No matter what. They like to hear this or not, Swapo party will defend herself if attacked unnecessarily. I think I'm clear.
My sister Beatrice, why do you hate us so much? You are always angry. You must be happy. Ask your questions. you see where you are going. I saw that. Now look how you do things. Look how you do things. Why do you always exaggerate things? Other day you said you came into my car. Apparently, I didn't even see you. There at the hospital. Don't be angry. It's good to be angry. Oh, that's what you are saying. They voted for us. They voted for us. They said Namibians are angry. Okay, comrade, thank you very much. Oh, no, let me finish. AC, that is a very serious statement. Very serious claim that we are underfunding ACN so that they can do their job. I know people who are making that propaganda, and definitely we created that institution, as I said. I was instrumental. In it. Somebody to come and teach me that we are trying to underfund it, whereas they know the crisis we are facing. That's not fair. Don't look for excuses. We are setting up these institutions. We love our people. We love our country. We want to see that this country, our country, succeeds. Our people happy. Those who are angry, trying to destroy the country, their own country, trying to always bring positive things, negative things about their own country, I'm sorry for you. But definitely we are going to see that our people are going to live in peace, work, hold hands, and build this Namibian house, where all Namibian children will live in peace. Your problems, poverty, and so on, we are going to see to it that we live in this Namibia, our Namibia, as all of us, as Namibian children. I'm finished now. Go ahead.
Thank you very much. Just in closing, as we are having it in our program, and I'm going to, the President has spoken, the Secretary General, the Vice President, and the good thing, this message has gone to the whole nation, particularly our members, our supporters, and our sympathizers. And the important point I want to make is, should there be anybody deliberately going to misinterpret the message has come from the President, as party members, supporters, and sympathizers, it's your responsibility to put it in the context. In whatever message or medium of communication they are using, you have to make sure that you put it straight as the President has put it. SWAPO is a party that believes in the rule of law. SWAPO is a party which is ethical in everything that we are doing, and we are very transparent. And as SWAPO members and supporters, we must emphasize this point. Now it is very clear, SWAPO has not received any money from the Fishrot, and this is why they were wanted. We couldn't see from all the questions. Let us defend our party when it's being attacked by the detractors. And this is the main message came from the President. We remain committed and focus to our principle of saving our people. My sincere como President, but this is to conclude as it's in the program.
Swapo.
Thank you.
Swapo. Now, go and work.
Thank you. We are done.